Welcome back to Midweek Politics. I'm David Pakman. In studio with us is Maggie Bergin, government affairs consultant from the Art of Politics. I think it's okay to say lobbyist, right?
I'm a good lobbyist, so it's okay.
We had Bill Rosen in our studio about a year ago. The first thing he said was he was one of the good lobbyists. You know Bill, right?
I know Bill, yes.
What's the difference between the good and the bad lobbyists?
I think it's in the eye of the beholder. I feel good about what I do. I have three kind of categories of clients, and they're in economic development, nonprofit and arts organizations, and green and energy efficiency companies. So, I wouldn't feel comfortable having an oil company as a lobbyist. So I'm comfortable. I feel like I do good work.
So, but if it is in the eye of the beholder or the lobbyist, every lobbyist is going to like what he or she is lobbying for, right?
I suppose.
So I think if we asked each individual lobbyist, they would all say they were the good kind. But there's definitely a difference between being involved with increasing coal plants and some of the issues you're involved in, which I would love to hear a little bit about. Who would be who's your favorite client? If I don't want to play favorites, but which one have you enjoyed the most working with over the last couple of months?
I can't comment. I don't have a favorite. That's like asking which of your children is your favorite.
But people, I've heard now people do pick one. I don't know.
I have two projects I'm working on that I'm really excited about right now. And while I can't really talk specifically about them just because they're still underway, I'd be happy to talk generally about what we're up to.
Yeah.
One is I'm working on a project for a client that would really transform a downtown neighborhood in the poorest community in the Commonwealth, and it would do that.
And when you say the Commonwealth, we mean
the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
right? Or to some people, the state of Massachusetts, but it is a Commonwealth, right?
Yeah. So people think of Massachusetts as being very, very well off, but a lot of our mid-sized cities have the same situation as those in the Midwest, Rust Belt communities where manufacturing jobs have left, and it leaves a community with dire poverty and incredible issues. So one of the projects I'm working on has the possibility of really helping turn one of these communities around. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm also excited to be working with a client. Oh, heck, I'll just say their name. My client is National Fiber, and they're the only insulation manufacturer in New England, and they manufacture cellulose insulation, which is an 83% recycled content. And I'm working on a couple projects for them, and they're awesome. They're a great company, and anybody who uses their product, I feel really good about promoting them because they're helping to reduce our greenhouse emissions and lower their energy bills at the same time.
So what we're talking about is the pink insulation that most people know about is not environmentally friendly, and National Fiber produces a type of insulation that isn't pink, I'm guessing, and that is environmentally friendly.
The embodied energy in cellulose insulation is nothing in comparison to the embodied energy in the production of both blown insulation and the pink stuff, as you refer to it.
So, and basically what that means in layman's terms is that the amount of fossil fuels required to make a certain amount is way more than the amount of heat that will be maintained by whatever that amount of insulation is. Is that roughly the trade-off, the idea?
In addition to that, the actual performance of the insulation is equal to or better, and depending on which measurement you're looking at. So we're lucky to have them in New England. There are other cellulose manufacturers around the country. It's a regional-based industry, and they're great, and I really like working with them.
So why are lobbyists necessary? Meaning, when I think about it from an outside point of view, couldn't the two parties just get together on their own that need to do business? Meaning, why do we need this middle person, or what some people, a lot of times lobbyists, people see them as unnecessary middle people that are just creating obstacles or increasing the cost of something? Why are they necessary?
Well, the work that I think what my clients hopefully would say is that the work that they do is directly impacted by the government. So they're in the economic development field, they're in workforce training, they run a hospital, a college, they're in the transit field. What the government does has a direct bearing on their ability to give good service to their constituents or their bottom line. So to be able to communicate their experience with the elected official is something that's very important to them. Just like you would hire a tax person who's knowledgeable about the IRS and their regulations to keep you out of trouble. Or if you're having a legal issue, you would hire a lawyer to help you navigate that system. Because the system is the way it is, people hire me to help them navigate it. And I can teach them how to navigate it themselves, or I can navigate it for them.
So when we think about a tax professional or a lawyer, it's very clear what their area of expertise is. So with a lobbyist, what is it about the system that's so complicated?
It's knowing. There's two things that I think are the most valuable things that lobbyists know. One is they know where the political capital is, and how things happen is based largely on political capital. Political capital is a precious, precious commodity. And as lobbyists, people working in the field, we kind of know where political capital is, how to raise it, and how to raise it. We also are aware of what's important to elected officials and agency officials. I mean, you don't have time to sit and read the National Register the way I do. You don't have time to read the testimony of the executive secretary for intergovernmental affairs. And those documents indicate a certain policy emphasis. And so having expertise in that area and having a relationship with people in those areas is valuable.
So in a way, a lobbyist is a very professional networker, right? They need to know the right people.
Hey, I'm on Twitter.
Right, exactly. So recently, when we're going to talk about this a little bit,
Art of Politic, by the way.
Right, at the is it
the
the
oh my gosh, I forgot.
I think I think a key thing is you have to know your Twitter name.
Yeah,
when you I've told people the wrong one. There's another David Pakman who I know, and sometimes I've given out his Twitter, and he has like 150,000 followers.
That
so
bum.
Exactly, yeah.